We need business leaders, not excuses. So listen, learn, and go do it. This is the Biz Tools Podcast. Now, just two guys, a girl, and a lot of caffeine. It's David Specht, Sean Green, and Molly Corbett.
Welcome to the Biz Tools Podcast. I am your host, Sean Green.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean. Hi, everybody. Hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
And across the table from me is the master and leader, David Specht.
On the wheels of steel.
And it's starting point guard. Hurt my throat.
Oh, poor thing.
Oh, now he's going to carry the rest of it.
Hi, everybody. Molly Corbett's the co-host. She's over there.
We're so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't even know what to say to that.
Let's
Hello.
pre-apologize once again.
Yeah, go ahead and preemptive apology. So to tell you about what we do, we sort of talk about a business topic or a leadership lesson, and
Yes,
we talk about everything else in the world around it. You can find us online at www.biztoolspodcast. We also have a Facebook page. That is www.facebook.com/BizToolsPodcast.
Very
Yay.
good. Yay.
Yay.
You get a gold star.
I do. And you can find us on iTunes. Please rate us. We also are on Stitcher. Correct?
Stitcher Radio and TuneIn Radio.
And TuneIn Radio, which I don't even know what that is. So now you're all...
It was free 50 free.
Yeah, so now that...
Free 50 free.
Now that boring shit's out of the way, what are we going to talk about today, Dave?
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
We're talking about personal versus professional image.
There we go.
Yes. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, there's a thing outside called social media. No.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. We've talked about
social media.
I know it's just so old and overdone.
That's what we do.
But we talked recently about personal brand and how your brand should have its own voice, etc. But what happens when your personal views, your personal background could adversely affect your brand?
Yeah.
You know, how do you separate the two? Should you separate the two? I've seen certain people that would do a public Facebook page and then they'd have a normal Facebook for just the close-knit people.
Right.
I've seen companies would have social media policies. We remember one young lady got fired at a local TV station for expressing her view when somebody went off on social and was actually attacking her directly. Mm-hmm. So, where's the line drawn, or can we even draw a line on that?
Well, yeah.
I guess the real question is, do you want to do something that will possibly end up taking your job from you, or in my case, robbing you of business? Mm-hmm. Or do you want to operate under a sense of decorum? And I walk this line very carefully because I have a more liberal take on politics.
Really?
No.
And
tell us about that.
No.
I don't know if you're aware.
No.
But
I just see the rainbows.
Where's that unicorn? But the thing is, I have a more left-leaning take on things, and I think in some markets I'm considered way more moderate, but here I'm considered liberal.
Right.
Super liberal.
And that's relative, but I live in a very red state, and when you are trying to do business in a red state, I do not want to ostracize an entire segment of the community because they disagree with me philosophically or politically. That's important to me, that I be able to be myself and walk that balance between expressing myself and still showing the community that I want to do business. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, before you interrupt me,
damn it,
that there is a restaurant in town that I absolutely adore. And
give a shout out. Go ahead. It's okay.
And the restaurant is the Glenwood Tea Room. I love them, and I can't quit them. I just can't. I quit Chick-fil-A, but I can't quit Glenwood Tea Room. Now, why would I want to quit them? Well, they are owned and managed by some folks who are very, very conservative on the political spectrum. I would say I'd probably, as a liberal, use the term ultra conservative. But here's the way I look at it. I have to do business with all kinds of people, and so do they.
Right.
And I'm supporting a small business, and therefore it's the economy in our region by now, and people can say you're justifying it. But for me, it's important that, first of all, I'd be able to continue to eat at the Glenwood Tea Room. And second, that
those nuggets are really good.
And second,
Get the hell out, Molly.
always temper my political beliefs and my what matters to me personally with how it affects my professional image and how it affects the greater professional community at large.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here.
Please.
It's funny you say all that because I don't think you walk a line. And I mean that as the Molly that I get online is the Molly I get in person.
I love that. Thank you for saying that.
And
that's what we all hope, though, isn't it? That we are just being ourselves.
Right.
But I think that what distinguishes it is mutual respect and maintaining a level of decorum and dignity with yourself.
Right. On your Facebook, you do talk about your beliefs, as you should. It's your Facebook. I don't care. I was just saying that to me, you do have a I don't want to say this is going to sound mean. I don't think you necessarily have a decorum online because you are very confrontational about your views.
I am confrontational.
But in person, you're not going to come up to me and go, "You're stupid because you're a Republican.
No,
and how dare you be for pro-gun?"
And often people don't, in conversation, one-to-one, throughout my day-to-day, often people would never even know because I don't make it a part of the daily conversation.
Right. It's not a part of your identity.
Right. But if I read something that really bothers me online and, I want
to... If the internet's good for anything, it's for getting people riled up.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. But, I also like to find ways to bring attention to very positive things that happen. I love some of my most favorite stories, the BuzzFeeds and Upworthies that you'll see me post, are about people crossing those boundaries, those cultural boundaries, and still meeting somewhere in the middle and helping each other. Those are my favorite stories because I think that's what we do, really. Those of us who are, the bulk of us who are just decent human beings trying to make a living and raise our families and just be a good citizen, we know how to bridge those boundaries. And the professional and personal divide doesn't really come into play.
Well, and let's face it, just one person's views, 99.9% of the time, you're not going to change them.
No.
They're ingrained within that person. Absolutely. So you have to be able to work with, around, or however, and not let that get in the way of what, your ultimate goal is, and that is to do business.
Absolutely.
I'm reminded of some of my early days in the newspaper business. I made the mistake of putting a political sign in my yard. I was supporting a certain candidate for, I think it was president. Oh, I got called on the carpet. And I was like, why? It's my yard. I want to be able to do what I want. He says, no, you don't understand. Your family owns the newspaper. Everybody who passes by your yard assumes now that the newspaper is promoting
that character. That character.
Yeah, it was a character, but
candidate.
And it was one of those things that was tough for me because there were certain things that I would get passionate about, and I couldn't publicly display unless we were to the point where, like, you know what, the heck with it, we're gonna endorse this thing or this person or this whatever.
And that's a choice that can be made, but it affects a lot of people besides just you.
If you're working for somebody else, especially in media.
Oh God, yeah.
Then you are beholden to public perception.
And you know what? It sucks. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I used to work for a church. I led worship for a church, and I couldn't go to the gas station and hit my finger on the pump and hurt myself and not say a bad word and without somebody, how you doing, Sister Molly? That kind of, I hate that crap. I hate not being able to be myself. I feel like, if Peter could get away with it, why can't I? And the truth of the matter is, in my evolution as a person and as a character, a person of character, I don't censor myself for that anymore. It's like I have to be me. I've got to sleep at night, and if you can't make space for your relationship with me with a cuss word here and there, then I wish you well on your way out the door. Go have a great life. I just can't do it.
It's okay,
man.
Because I learned a lesson from you, which was to be myself.
I can't believe he learned anything.
He did. He really did.
I learned, believe it or not.
I love that.
Yeah, but I just want to, because I felt unhappy because I worked for a conservative newspaper and I was a registered Democrat. You would never know. that was the thing.
Right. We don't wear this stuff on our sleeves.
Right. And
some people do, but we don't.
And it never really impacted what I did. But the matter of the fact is that I felt uncomfortable just not being able to put a curse word in a status on Facebook if I want to, because that's my vernacular.
Now I know my mama would rather I didn't.
Right.
But she loves me too.
So but I felt it made it where I wouldn't friend people that I had to deal with through work.
Oh, you're hiding. Yeah, you got to hide from all of this.
And I would not post anything.
Right.
At all.
Remember.
I removed any pictures of me with a cigarette in the past or drinking.
Oh, yeah.
I was telling Dave about, there was a great picture of me when I was in my early 20s drinking a 40, and my best friend's looking at me like,
dude.
Who is this? What are you doing to yourself?
Will you put that on the group page?
No, I don't have it anymore.
Dang it.
But and I was like, I don't want people to see this. I don't want people to judge me on this. But I was like, you know what? If Molly can do it, and people like Molly, and people know Molly, and they know that that the Molly they're getting online is the Molly they're getting in person, it's okay.
Absolutely. Now, you will lose some in the fallout. Look, don't get me wrong.
Well,
but then some people will surprise you. The pastor that I used to work for, friend requested me probably 4 times. And I was like, dude, you do not want to be my friend.
Do you know what you're getting yourself into,
you don't know what you're doing.
You do not want to be my friend. And I mean, we had a very close working relationship. And I believe that this is a good man. But I was tired of censoring myself. But that 4th request, I was like, you know what?
Sure.
Boom. You get what you get, baby. If you can't handle it, I'll see you on the unfriend side. But he is hung right in there. He's still hanging out.
Well,
he might have unfollowed.
He may have, and you know what? If I were him, I would have done that too. I would have done that
and
too.
That's completely okay.
Yeah.
Some days I'm afraid to check my Facebook at church because Molly may show up in the.
Oh God.
What are you doing, Dave?
Nothing.
Yeah. Don't look. Yeah, but I think too, it's important to realize that people feel like they know you more if you're yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that actually I read in I believe it was The Go-Giver, where it was the lesson about how people really want to do business with people that they feel like they know.
Right.
It was the story about the real estate person.
Oh, yeah.
Who was putting on a mask. She would be inauthentic, and people could tell that she wasn't being herself. And so she just thought, you know what, screw this. And she sold a house. Yeah. Because they were like, well, we felt comfortable with you. You weren't hiding anything. You were being upfront. You were, anybody who is forward as you are would not be hiding. And I was like, that's a really good point. Yeah. And not only did I take the shackles off that point, I just felt better. I thought, I don't have to hide anything. If somebody wants to debate it and call me out and call me wrong, I'll be glad to discuss it with them. Right. But I'm not going to pretend to not be myself anymore.
No, done with that. That was for my 20s.
I'm talking about like I'm gay and I was coming out or something. But
no, it's a very, that's funny.
Sorry, Jamie.
Absolutely. But it's a very serious thing. It really is. And to me, it's lifeblood. If you can't be yourself, I don't want to get out of bed in the morning.
So let's get back to the central question then. Do you draw a line?
I think you have to have decorum.
Respect. Decorum and respect. Absolutely.
And I think you have to, if you work for somebody that doesn't want that's part of not their, if you have a social media policy that doesn't allow you
that's different.
No, there's policies, man.
That's
and if there's a policy in place and you're trying to act like there isn't one, then you deserve to be fired.
Or the company you work for, it's not going to reflect well on them.
I would say that, and you'll probably agree with this, treat it as if you were at a networking event. Yeah. If it's something that you would say at a networking event or something that you would share as far as, at a networking event, then you're okay.
I'm going to tell you what, guys, as much as you do see me post, there is some serious self-editing happening.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying. But,
I really, especially the political stuff, I'm real careful.
I know.
Politics is something.
And I don't do it too much. No, exactly. And I don't do it too much in one day. Like if I've had a couple, I got to relax on that. Got to let them breathe a little.
Molly. Calm down.
Exactly.
It's funny because I don't post political.
Yeah.
No matter where my leanings are. Yeah. Most of the time, I'm bashing both sides for being idiots.
I do. I like that when you do that, though.
It's like, hello, can we have something besides rhetoric out there this week? And it's true. I mean, let's take the shooting in Oregon.
Yeah.
Talk about politicizing something like before the bodies were cold. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
You had the NRA getting out there, and you had and then you had the liberals automatically calling.
Can we have a serious discussion about guns?
Yeah.
Not even that. It was ban guns.
Yeah.
When are we going to learn that we need to ban guns?
Yeah.
I would be okay if people came and said, "Look, we need to really talk about it. We need to really discuss gun."
Yeah, I think a bipartisan discussion about guns is really in order, and I think it could happen. But
we're not even getting that.
No, what we're seeing is just it's a lashing out. It's reactionary. It's not designed to bring about any good result.
You're gonna have to, and this is with everything. You're gonna have to get away from the elected official. To come up with a solution.
It's got to be with people like us.
It's got to be a think tank or something that's commissioned, and then they formulate the legislation or they formulate the enforcement.
We're just solving this,
and they get
right now,
and then a thumbs up, thumbs down vote.
Yeah, but to pull it back to what we're talking about, that's important. What you post about that could cost your job, could cost you a contract, could cost you
business.
Yeah, so you have to have some sort of decorum.
Yeah, and I speak from experience. I almost destroyed a professional relationship because I used the F word in a post, and I had to make an apology about that. And the organization that called me on it was like, when you cause an offense in a certain format, that's the same format that you need to use to apologize, and they were absolutely right. Now, what they wanted me to apologize for was the use of the language that could be reflected back to the work that I was doing for them. And I didn't apologize for the passion and tenor of the argument behind it, but I did see that the use of that language in a way that could be reflected back on my job with that particular organization could be hurtful to that organization. And I don't want that.
No.
I don't want that. But let me tell you got to get your big girl pants on for something like that. That's really hard to sit in a room and have somebody look across the table from you and say, this is unacceptable, and it's a humbling experience.
I can imagine.
And I hope for everyone that hears this that they don't ever have an experience like that. But I almost hope that you do, because everybody needs to know what it's like to have potentially hurt somebody else professionally with something that they said in a public forum, and then all that self-editing that you do is there for good reason. Right.
And we always have to remember the ripple effect of everything we do.
Absolutely.
You drop that pebble in the pond, and it's just going to spread and spread and spread.
So really the advice here to me is to just take it one step. Before you click submit or
just
post or tweet,
quick.
Whatever, just go, if I say this, what's going to happen? And if you say consequences be damned, well, then it's on you.
Right.
And if you go, my list is cultivated to where it's not going to affect me, that's fine. But just think beyond the initial gut reaction of, I'm sick of this thing.
The other thing is, too, and it sounds like I'm playing both sides of the fence, and I'm really not, but authenticity trumps
absolutely
it. In other words, if you're inauthentic, because you're censoring yourself to the point where you're inauthentic.
Right. You're better off just not posting.
Yeah, anything. Okay, so perfect example in this situation where I was called on the carpet about that infraction, the first thing that I did was I went, okay, people are seeing my stuff that are using it against me. Somebody brought that to that man's attention. So I locked down my Facebook, and now, if we're not friends, you don't get full access to my account anymore. So, and as I encounter situations where I think someone else might be a friend that's utilizing what they have access to on my Facebook page, I get rid of them.
Not everybody who friends you is doing so with the most noble of intentions.
Not everyone means you well.
And keep in mind, too, there's another tool on Facebook that you can use where you can categorize people.
Yes.
People on lists. So if you don't want them to see it, which includes, probably family, church members, work associates, if you're scared that they might be offended, I would just play it safe and put them in a list.
Yeah.
Now you're having to
my mom's probably put me in some sort of list. Either that or she unfollowed me long ago.
From your friend. We talked about that.
Yeah.
One of your friends who I will not name for I don't want to call her out.
So as not to incriminate.
Yeah. But she brought that up. I was like, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Now you have to do double work. Because,
it's that kind of work that's worth it. That's just good due diligence, especially if you are working for a prominent company in town or you have a business in town that you're trying to grow. You need to be careful about that sort of thing.
Right. Well, guys, we had a really good, serious discussion. We do not have time for a. Yeah, sorry, was it funny? Sorry, we weren't making fart
jokes. Sorry, we didn't make you laugh. Yeah, fart jokes.
But we are out of time for a Biz Tool for our Biz Tool of the week.
Okay.
So we will circle back around. Maybe we can do 2 next week.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe
we'll see. Who cares?
Unless it's solid gold again.
Solid gold.
Solid gold. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Got questions? Post them in the comment section of the show notes. We'll answer them. Find out more at thebiztools.com/thepodcast. Until next time, applied knowledge is power.